So my ex-girlfriend, her mother committed suicide, and her brother, and I got him chatted here. He was my agent, and he committed suicide the week after I took the SGA deal.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
That is terrible. It's a really confusing thing to.
Really confusing. Like this was just a year ago.
Oh my God.
So like we're friends, but it was so weird. You know what I mean? 'Cause it kind of like tore us apart. Kinda.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what I mean? And like I don't know. Like it changes a lot. So we have Renee Jeffrey. So I was thinking as we started to expand, our podcast and trying to get diversified individuals on, and thinking to myself of the most successful, females in our company and in the industry. And, as I'm going through the list for one, I was like, well, who do I know? And then a combination of who do I know in addition to, who's accomplished great things that would be interested in getting on. And I came to the top of the list, and, luckily and surprisingly, you had responded so quickly, and we were able to schedule so quickly where I was like, I didn't imagine.
On a Sunday morning, I was like, damn, this must be important.
Yeah, I was like, I was surprised. I was like, I'm surprised you were even going to be able to do this year. I was like, I'd probably have to hit a certain sales goal or something to even be allowed to get you to get
social media buzz?
That's my next meal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which I already ate.
I was going to say, you just ate one.
Yeah, exactly. So I already ate it. But I want to jump right in, real laid back. So I just kind of want to get your story and from past to present, and just kind of get an idea of what the future looks like, and kind of go from there. So where were you born? Let's start there.
Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah.
Cool. So what did your parents do?
My dad, a mechanic,
Yeah.
and my mom, administrative assistant in different offices.
So union? Were they union?
Nope.
Okay. Siblings?
Brother and a sister.
Okay. What did they do growing up?
So my sister, they're twins.
Yep.
They're 2 years younger, but my brother passed away, so it's my sister now.
Okay.
She's in restaurant business.
Yep. You ever try to recruit her?
I have.
Yeah.
She's got some background issues.
Yeah.
So we can't.
Okay.
But
it's all good.
Yeah. Doesn't mean that Marcus and Jim, aren't willing to hire her, because they are. But
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you.
She's still in Cleveland. Yeah.
I feel you. So, growing up in Cleveland, then, what was growing up for you like?
Well, I guess in regards to what, like,
your whole life.
My whole life.
Yeah, like growing up. What was growing up like as a young kid?
Yeah. So I was the oldest of three.
Okay.
Growing up, we were like low to middle income. I didn't really have a whole lot. My parents were great. They were married up until I was in college. So we had our full family of five. My brother was kind of bad growing up, though. So there were issues where the cops were getting called a lot, and we were almost like we're like the big scene of the the house that has all the scenes going on all the time. Actually, Peter Riker and I grew up on the same street.
For real?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we call each other Plainfield, because that's the street we grew up on.
Let's go.
Yeah. Let's go. So, but yeah, we always had the cops over there. He was just a bad kid. So there were times where I almost felt like embarrassed at times to, kids would be making fun of us or talking shit, because my brother getting in trouble. But it was good overall. Growing up as a child, as we got older, and then going away to college, I left my family for the first time. My sister, who is 2 years younger, she took it really hard. Yeah. And she ended up getting in some drugs, so I felt a little bit of responsibility for that. Like I left her and abandoned her, which I didn't. Yeah. My parents got divorced. So once I was like older, in college, things started to kind of fall apart.
Yeah, a lot happened.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. So what was middle school? But like we skipped a little bit. What was middle school and high school like?
I was a cheerleader. Yeah. Ran track. I did. I was in dance pretty much my entire life. I had to make a decision once I got to high school.
Ballet, hip hop.
Ballet, tap, and jazz.
Okay, I don't know if you could break dance or something.
No, I wish I was a better dancer. For taking dance lessons for so long, you'd think that I'd be a better dancer, but I'm not great at it.
Where'd you go
Need
to
a couple drinks.
Where'd you go to college?
Ohio University.
OU.
Yep.
OU Bobcats, right?
Yep.
Let's go. Let's go. I know a lot of kids that go to OU. That's dope. So you go to OU, and then were you there for 2 years or 3 years before you got into our company?
I was there I graduated from college.
You did?
Yep.
Okay.
So I actually had American Income. I already knew I was going to start working for the company before I graduated. So soon I graduated a little bit early. I was a quarter early. So my last final, I just would say that's when I graduated, because I actually never went back to walk across stage. So I was training someone that weekend. Yeah. But so I graduated in March of '06, and in March of '06, I was coded with American Income, and here I am.
So how'd you already know you were going to work with American Income?
Travis Moody.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was he personally recruited me. He went to college with me.
Yep.
And my ex-boyfriend at the time, they wrestled together.
Okay.
So something really good came out of that relationship. It was me finding Travis to find American Income.
Who recruited Travis?
I'm not sure, actually.
Okay.
That's a good question. It
And
might have been Nick Zangardi, maybe. I don't know.
think that I hear that name a lot for recruiting.
Yeah.
So, and then.
Oh, he had a badass team back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Travis, he's an SGA?
Yep, he's an SGA in Kentucky.
Okay.
Partners now with Josh West.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, and then
he came back for a career fair. So, him and my ex-boyfriend, or boyfriend at the time, were really good friends. They wrestled together at OU. And so Travis was going to do a career fair for Ray Smith.
Yeah.
And so he shows up. We go to meet him at the bars like the night before,
Yeah.
and he pulls up in a BMW. I'm like, what are you doing? Because whatever you're doing, I think I could do it. If not the same, is better,
Yeah.
So I went to the career fair and like poked around with the idea of it. And literally a couple of days later, decided that was where I wanted to work when I graduated. I wasn't 100% sure yet at that point what I was going to be doing.
Yeah.
But it wasn't fashion merchandising, which is what I went to school for. So
Wow.
yeah. Yeah.
So what was that like for school?
As far as school goes, I didn't go in like, I want to do fashion. Like, this is my goal. This is my passion. I played around with a couple of things. I actually was a dance major at OU, but not coming from much of anything. Like, my mom was, spending tons of money trying to put me through school. It was not easy on her financially. First time I put on a leotard to go to school, like to a college course, I'm like, I can't do this. I could spend this money better elsewhere, getting a business degree to open up a dance school or whatever. So I kind of bounced around with majors for a while. I didn't have that really, really strong passion. Even, once I got my degree, it wasn't like be all end all. I'm going to be in fashion. So when I saw the opportunity and the income that could be generated and the lives that you can change with what Travis Moody was doing, I'm like, I'm all in. I don't need to try to figure out a career in fashion. So yeah.
That's dope. So what was school like for you growing up? Like, did you like it? Did you not like it? From high school to college?
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
There's people that hate school.
Yeah.
There's people that love it and kind of in between. I liked it. I always got good grades.
Okay. So you never got in trouble in school, high school and college?
I might have gotten in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
In my younger years.
What was like when you look back, I feel like every kid's got like one of those memories where it's like, high school or college, I feel like around that area where it's like, you really messed up, but you can look back and kind of laugh at it, but it's like you really messed up.
Yeah. Well, I've gotten a couple fights, like physical fights.
Nah.
Yeah. Yep. I even broke a toe once.
Nah.
Yep. Like one of my toes.
Ohio. What's up with everybody can fight in Ohio?
I know. We're real scrappy, especially if you're from the east side,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I got in a couple of fights in high school. They were always because I was trying to protect my sister or my family or myself. Like, it was never just because I had a hot head. It was, I felt like I was defending people that needed to, I'm very protective of my people.
Yes.
My family, my friends, like, I'm super, super loyal to you and no one else can treat you bad, especially in front of me, or I'll have a problem with it, Or I got hit
she
first.
said no one else. Like, so you're saying, you don't get the joke? Like, I could beat you up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. Not either.
Like if my loved ones is like I can rag on you.
No,
nobody else allowed to.
Well, I mean, isn't that kind of how it works? Like, you might be able to rip on your mom or your sister a little bit, but no one else better say a word, right?
Like, it's like, like my people, like this, like my agency, I'll rag on my people, but nobody else better.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to be protective of them,
Absolutely.
So yeah, there were a couple. The one was it was in a football player's front yard. I'm actually friends with every single girl that I've gotten in a fight with too. I mean, I graduated high school 20 years ago, not to age myself, but so we're all way, way, way past that. But the one where I broke a toe, the football players got in between us real fast and were trying to pull us apart. Mm-hmm. And my hair was like almost down to my butt. And so the only thing the girl could still get a hold of was my hair. So she had, I'm like leaning over, I'm like on, completely at a 90-degree angle. So the only thing I could do to try to defend myself was kick her. My arms weren't reaching her. Yeah. So I kicked her and broke my own toe.
Wow.
Yeah. It sucked. You can't do anything about it,
Yeah.
Just gotta wait for it to heal.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
So school, you didn't really mind, got in some fights, did kind of well. You already had AIL lined up because Travis Moody, ex-boyfriend, it was all lined up. And then AIL, how did that all go? Like from your start to where you're at now? Like, give us the in-depth detail. Like, all of it.
So when I first started with Ray Smith as an agent, I had literally one weekend off where I got licensed. I took, actually you just have to go physically into a school, sit there for 40 hours a week, and, and to get your license and take the state exam. So I can't remember what I passed with, but I passed the first time. And then that following Monday was in training class with Steve Serace as the trainer. And so at the time, Story Smith had, maybe they still have this policy in place, I don't know, but basically if you're in leadership, and especially if it's not a personal recruit, which I was of Travis's, but he was not my trainer, if you blank as a leader 2 days in a row, you don't write any business, that's can really start to screw up the mental of the trainee,
Yeah.
So like they start questioning, well, geez, if my trainer can't do this, then am I going to be able to do it? So anyway, the guy that was initially training me, and he's a great guy. He just had 2 bad days, and he could write a lot of business. He's been with the company for a long time, but he blanked 2 days in a row. And so I obviously didn't know this rule at this point in time. I go out my first 2 days with him while I'm in-house training with Steve Strace during the day. And Marcus pulls me out of class on day 3 in the morning. And he's like, Renee, to talk to you. I didn't even know he knew my name at that point. I'm like literally on day 3. And he goes, you're not going to be going out with your manager anymore. Instead, you're going to go out with a guy named Simon. He's all the way out in, I can't remember where it was, like Southern Ohio somewhere, like a couple hours away. He's like, he's already out writing business, but when we're done with school today, you're just going to go meet him in the field after that. I'm like, okay. So I don't know who Simon is. I've never met him before. He wasn't in the office Monday or Tuesday, or we didn't cross paths at least up to that point. So I go out and meet him wherever it was, Southern Ohio. And I get in his car and he's like, take off all your jewelry. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, am I getting like, what do you mean? He's like, take off all your jewelry. We don't go into houses like that. He was super business right away. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm like straightening up in the car. Like, am I sitting okay? Is he mad at me?
Yeah.
But, and we went out that day and he just ripped it. I can't remember how much he wrote, but it was, I think he probably wrote minimum 5,000-10,000 every single week that I was with him in the field.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is the easiest thing in the world. Like, there's no way that everyone can't be super, super successful at this.
Yep.
So I do understand the importance of why they kind of pulled me out, after day 2 of not seeing anything. But, the belief was there, like instantly.
I kind of forget who field trained Simon.
Shoot, I don't remember.
Yeah, I forget. No, he's had to have mentioned it.
It'll come to me. I can't remember. Was it Nick? No, it wasn't Nick Zangardi. You'll have to ask him. I don't know.
I have to ask him.
It's going to drive me crazy, actually.
Same.
Yeah.
So you see him doing it. You see him having success.
Yeah.
Where does that lead to next?
So he was a really good trainer. I was the second person that he trained.
Yep.
And he was just on it. And I was willing to take as much criticism, feedback as I could. And he was super, super supportive. There were times where at that point in time, Story Smith was running a 7-day schedule. We worked Monday through Sunday, pretty much before the sun came up to after the sun went down. So, and we get on a phone session on every Sunday. We did phones, and it'd be like 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock whenever we could stop calling on a Sunday. And he'd be like, all right, we're gonna do role play now. And we would literally go through the script for hours. We'd be in the office. It'd be like 11, 12, 1 in the morning. And if I got one word wrong, like and instead of or, he'd be like, no, start over. I'd be on page like 6 of 8. And he's like, make him start over at sentence 1. I'm like, oh my God. There were a couple times where I might have had a breakdown or two. Like, please just let me keep going. I don't want to start off at word 1 on page 1. It's font size 8, single space, It's a lot different than the scripts are now, but yeah, so he was just an awesome trainer. So, and having the support and belief from him, and you could tell he really cared about his people. Making sure that his people were successful was very, very important to him.
Yeah.
And so we had our little team of 3, for first person that he trained up to this point, was Gideakos Davis. I think so that was his first train. So Gideakos and I were loved each other, but we were at it. Like, I'm going to beat you this week. And so we were super competitive with each other, which helped a lot, drive each other. But yeah, so then I got promoted. I can't remember when I got my SA contract. I didn't really struggle writing business right away. I feel, at least, Simon might tell you different, but I feel like whatever he said to do, I just listened. Yeah. Especially at this point in my career. Maybe later on I would, challenge some things that he said, to be fair. But early on, especially, I didn't question anything. I remember him telling me at one point, if you get, you're doing your job right when you get kicked out of a house. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense to me. What do you mean? And he's like, if you're really doing your job and you're explaining properly, with the benefits that they need, really, and they don't see a need for it, if you just pack up and walk out, you're not doing your job. You need to make sure that you're fighting for it, more or less. They need to understand how important this is. And if you've done everything you possibly could to the point where they're literally like, I'm done, get out.
Yeah.
Like, that's when you know, like, you're doing your job properly.
Yeah.
You know, in a way, basically saying you're not giving up too fast in the homes that you're sitting down with.
Yep.
And it's not even to make a sale. It's to, you know, make sure that they're fully protected, and then obviously it comes back to you with the premium in the income. But so anyway, I got kicked out of my first house. You would have thought that I had a huge sale.
Yeah.
I called him all pumped up, like, I just got kicked out of my first house. He's like, okay, we don't need to always be doing that now, you know. But anyway, so he was a great trainer. So after a couple of months, I got my SA contract. And my first trainee was C-Dubs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, first person I ever trained was Chris Williams. So
Let's go.
yeah, I
Let's
know,
go.
like, that's cool. At least the first person I trained is
Yeah.
still here. I don't know who else is. You know?
Yeah,
It's
I
been a
think
little
about that
while
all
at
the
this
time, yeah.
point, you know.
Yes.
But I love Chris.
Yep.
He's awesome, but he was a pain in the ass.
Yeah?
Oh yeah.
How old was he when he started?
I was 20, almost 22 when I first started. So I was 22 when I trained him. I don't know how old is he?
I have no idea.
I think he's give or take around my age. So he was early 20s.
Now, was he Simon's personal or
Mhm. Yeah, Simon gave him to me to train.
was it football?
Yeah.
Okay.
At Mercyhurst.
Yep, I think so. And so from there, SA, I remember, did you post something about you being the #1 GA the other day?
Yeah. So when I went home for Christmas, my mom's like, here, she gives me this big, like, tote, like those plastic totes of spotlights and, like, Sri Smith Awards, stuff that I guess left at her house at some point in one of my many moves. And so I'm going through all these spotlights, and I'm like, holy shit, there I am. You know, it's like, I don't even look like myself anymore. It's been so long. But, and it's crazy, the numbers, like, to get in the #1 spot as a GA at that point, you know, it's like won't even get you in the top 10 now, you know?
Yeah.
So it's kind of making fun of myself. Like, this is what this
Yeah.
is what you had to do to get, you know, top position in the spotlight back in the day. But things have changed. The company's grown crazy. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So you went from SA to GA. When did you become an MGA?
I became an MGA after 11 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
So coming up on 2007?
Yep. It was beginning of 2007.
Okay.
And so then at that point, Simon became an RGA.
Yep.
And I think, is that the year that he got promoted, I think?
Thought it was 2008.
Okay, it might have been.
I think it was, I don't know. I think it was
I
2008.
can't remember. Okay, well, whatever year it was. So I was an MGA under him as an RGA up until the point where he left for Pittsburgh.
And then where were you running your MGA deal?
In Cleveland at that point in time.
Okay.
Yeah. And then after a little while, you know, obviously Simon did a startup, and he had great support, like, especially with his mom, who's amazing. I love her. But, you know, I had the opportunity to go out there after a couple of months. I didn't go right away when he got promoted.
Yep.
So I went out to Pittsburgh, and I was there for about a year. Once he hit 100,000 in a week, and you probably have seen it. I feel like they post it every now and then in the spotlight, you know, where everyone's like holding a different like sign. So you might not know, but I'm one of those people. I just had like jet black hair at the time. And was obviously a lot younger. But so once he hit 100,000 a week, I'm like, it's time to go back to Cleveland. Went back to Sri Smith. And, you know, they welcomed me back with open arms, but they're like, listen, you have two choices. You left as an MGA, so you can come back as an MGA, but we're not giving you your team back. Like, you're going to we can't take them from their new, from their new managers. So you can have an MGA contract, or you can be a GA, and we'll put you under Vasu. We know that you guys are good friends. You guys will work well together. And he is under the understanding that he'll give you people to train, like, right out the gates. You won't have to wait for you to build your pipeline. And anyone that you train, you'll keep once you're ready to be an MGA. And I'm like, I'll do that all day long. Like, I didn't have one person in the pipeline when I left Pittsburgh to go back to Cleveland.
Yeah.
What's the point of taking an MGA contract at that point? You know?
Exactly.
You're better off just, you know, humbling yourself and getting to work. So, so that's what I did with Vasu for a little while. And then they asked me if I would move down to Columbus and work with Bulldog in the Columbus office. So I'm not a huge fan of Cleveland. Like, I don't miss it. I don't like it there. Brings back a lot of bad memories. It just doesn't. It's not good for me. So I'm like, sure, I'll move to Columbus. Move down to Columbus. And so at this point, Dave Guzman, who's a director with Home Office now, but also used to work with Sri Smith, he was an MGA in the Columbus office. So he wanted to go back to Cleveland, if I remember correctly. So you're almost like swapping teams in a way. And neither one of us had like a huge team built up at that point. We were both rebuilding. So I went down to Columbus, and I was there up until I left to go work for Home Office in 2011.
Yep.
So I was with Sri Smith, between Sri Smith and Simon, it was about 5 years on the agency side.
And then how did the home office opportunity present itself?
You know, it really was just a matter of timing. But so before the laptop presentation, do you know what we used to do, like to sell?
I actually don't. I remember I started with paper leads, but I don't know what you guys really did.
Okay, so there used to be a 3-ring binder, Like just like I don't know if you played with the videos or not, but just like how there's videos and there was a 3-ring binder and you would flip the pages and there's like pictures on them, like legit, like it was like you're reading the people.
So did you guys have the script memorized or did you read the script in the house?
Oh, I had it memorized word for.
Okay, I was going to call Simon right after this.
Oh, are you kidding? I just told you he would literally.
Okay, I was just double checking because when you said binder and I'm like, no. They didn't.
We did have a binder, but it was literally pictures that like corporate put together.
Okay.
Well, you know, and it's like, you know, final, I can't remember what they said, like final expense. And then we had stuff in like the little like protectors, like the clear protectors. And I mean, it was like, looking back on it, it's like, I can't believe we used to sell people. You know, we used to go into homes like that.
Did you ever forget your binder? Because I used to, you know what I mean? Laptop explode.
Yeah. Yeah. I will tell you, that's one good thing about the binder is that it's not exploding. You know, you don't have to worry about any technical issues, but you could leave it. You know, that's just as bad. But, word for word, we had to have memorized.
Okay.
And there'd be like pop quizzes, like walking down the hallway. If Simon or Marcus wanted to, he'd be like, give me your freedom of choice. And if you couldn't spit it out, like that wasn't good. You know, I always made sure I was on top of my shit.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to be getting caught not knowing my stuff. So
that's hilarious.
Yeah. But, what were we talking about?
Laptop.
Oh yeah, laptop. So Don Bertini and I had communicated. There was actually someone else that came from Saray Smith that left to go work for home office. And at this point in time, they were starting to put together a laptop presentation, like e-app. We wouldn't have anything on a computer up to this point with the company. Yep. And so they needed people to help roll it out to the company. So at this point in time, again, I'm rebuilding. I'm down in Columbus. At this point in time, my agency wasn't writing 20, 30,000 plus a week. And so it was just honestly timing. I was 26, I think, maybe 27 at that point. And I'm thinking like, well, this is going to be a traveling job. Look, I'm going to literally travel to every single office in the company and help roll out a brand new presentation, which is super scary to think about changing just literally the way that we do things, which I guess we've done with, you know, going from in person to virtual, but that was forced, you know, like this was like we had to try to get everyone on board that this was the better way to do it, you know. And so I figured I'm not married. I don't have kids. I think traveling sounds really fun. And I'm in a rebuilding phase where I don't feel like I'm walking away from, you know, from a team that I worked so hard to build. I was just basically starting over again. And so I'm like, oh, it's kind of now or never, because hopefully, you know, I mean, if I were to get married or have kids, maybe I'm not going to be so willing to travel, you know, 4 days a week. It used to be, I think it was Monday through Thursday when we first started, every single week. Yeah. So, I decided to take that opportunity and helped roll out the laptop presentation for a couple of years. It took us.
And then what promotions have you experienced since then?
Since the laptop director, I got promoted to a sales director. And then in 2017 or 16, I can't remember, 2017, I think, I was director of the year. And so that puts you in a position where the company starts to look at you for potential positions to move into a VP role. So then I got promoted to a vice president of field operations just 3 years ago. Actually, I just hit the 3 years in that position. And in order to take that position, you have to be living in Texas. So I moved down to Texas 3 years ago and have been in that position since.
Let's go. So what part of Texas do you live in again?
It's a little bit north of Dallas.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Northern Dallas suburb.
You like it?
I do. I do. It's a lot different than Cleveland.
Yeah.
You know, but I like it. I mean, Cleveland is, like I said, it's not my favorite place at all, but the weather is just so much different. Like, I forget how cold it gets.
Yeah.
Even when I got off the plane today, I'm like, oh my God, I didn't dress warm enough, you know?
Yeah.
It's freezing here.
Yeah.
And you're in the lake, same with Cleveland.
Yep.
And in Texas, there's sweltering hot where you feel like you're in an oven, or there's cold. Like, we don't have the season, so I do kind of miss, you know, the fall. Like, leaves don't change colors there. It's really weird. Yeah. Everything's either green or it's brown. Like, you know, which is ugly. You don't get to see that fall that you can see, you know, in the Midwest. Which
Absolutely.
Is, yeah.
So, and then how's work presently? What things are you excited about that are going on right now? How's life now?
I mean, I love it. Work is great. You know, I have, so right now I'm responsible for, I have 3 sales directors on my team. And then between the 3 sales directors and myself, there's 15 SGAs that we work with. So 15 different agencies that we, you know, visit every other week, ultimately. I just started training a new guy. I'm excited about him as well. Because we lost one of my guys to be an SGA, which is an awesome opportunity for him.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. I like how you guys are doing that, the sales directors, and then kind of gives them a lot more education for some individuals that might not have like the resources, Jim and Marcus.
Absolutely.
I mean, and Simon.
Yeah, even going from Saray Smith to when Simon was just starting up, we were like, we didn't realize how much we didn't know.
Yeah.
You know, like Bev and all the ladies and Tiffany that work in the Cleveland office, like their support system is so strong there that we were kind of spoiled. We had no idea how good we had it, you know? And then all of a sudden it's like, we don't even know what cast means. Like, we don't know how to get into cast. Like, very simple things that you would think that you would know. But when you had a support system, you know, that strong, like the ages that we came from, it makes it really difficult. So I think this new program is cool for people who maybe don't have, you know, the background necessary to just jump right into an SGA position where they're going to be, you know, comfortable with it right away. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite memories in general?
Favorite memories?
Like just lifetime favorite memories.
Like generally speaking?
Yep, just generally.
I can't tell you like one specific moment,
yeah,
but I'll tell you generally speaking, I miss like 2006, 2007. There were just literally, I feel like it's like probably a quarter of the SGA body at this point, where all my friends like all started off within the same year of each other. Those days were fun. Road trips.
They need to do like a 30 for 30 on like how many, like
it's insane.
2006 to 2008.
It's wild. Yeah.
All the talent that came through.
And like all at once.
Yeah.
I mean, the list is, you know, every year at the SGA meeting, we try to get everyone on stage to take a picture.
Yeah.
And there's always one or two people that are missing, you know, because they were in the bathroom or they ran out
from the gym and Marcus, like Tulich.
Yeah. And it's wild. The whole stage is filled every time now. Yeah.
It is incredible when you try to add up the AOP. I don't know. I think I talked
Marcus
to
does
Steve.
this.
Yeah. He adds up the AOP.
Marcus makes sure he keeps track of the ALP.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. It's true though.
Yeah.
It's true, and it's cool, and it's ultimately just cool to work in a company where we all do compete in it. We find that balance of a healthy competition.
Mm-hmm.
So I really do enjoy. I
love Marcus.
I really do enjoy that.
Yeah.
So some of your favorite memories, 2006, 2007, 2008.
Beginning.
Is there anything though that, like, I know you said you couldn't point one out, but is there anything that you could, if you thought about it, that you could point out? Any awards or things or?
Yeah, I mean, I was winning awards. You know, especially as in the G8 position. I think I was in that position the longest my first year. I mean, I got from an agent to an SA pretty quick. I remember Marcus or Simon or collectively Jim, I don't know who it was exactly, feeling like I was ready to be promoted to an SA. And I'm like, these people are crazy. Like, I don't even know what I'm doing yet.
Yeah.
I mean, looking back on it, I'm like, I'd take all kinds of me from back then at 2 months in.
Yeah.
But at that point, I'm like, I still have questions every day that I'm in the field. You want me to train someone else, you know?
Yeah.
But looking back on it, I was definitely ready. And I think I might have pushed it off for one more month. Like, just let me get one more month in under my belt. And, you know, for the rest of that first year, I was in the GA role. So I was on stage quite a bit with Ray Smith as a GA and then an MGA, probably an SA too. But yeah, so that was good. With, you know, we had road trips were so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I did over 100,000 miles in 2 years.
Oh my God. I don't think I did that much.
It's 93 days. I fell asleep behind the wheel 5 times.
That's not
Car
good.
insurance got up to $1,000 a month.
Oh my God. That's not safe at all.
Yep.
We had there was.
Simon tells me not to tell people that when I'm trying to recruit.
I know.
He'd be like, what do you do?
Yeah. Oh my God. That's wild. That's a lot. There was a road trip that Vasu, Simon, and I went on.
Yeah.
And when we did road trips, like, I'm sure you were the same way. Like, you go hard. Like, like nothing else matters at that point. Like, your whole focus is just to come back with the most and as much ALP as you can. So Vasu, Simon, and I were doing a road trip together. But obviously, when we got down there, I can't remember what city we were in even. We all spread out. Mm-hmm. So late at night, they both get back to the hotel, and I'm not back because I'm closing someone. Like, Simon should have known that he had my schedule. Yeah. This dude lost his shit. Like, completely flipped out. Like, screaming at, texting me, calling me. Like, I didn't realize I was literally filling out an application. And so when we got back, Vasu was kind of laughing at him, like, dude, like, she was in a sale, chill out. And he's like, I got to make sure that nothing's happening to her, though. Like, we're in the middle of nowhere. You know, I'm not answering my phone. I think it was probably like 11:30 or so. But those road trips were always fun.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. So
he was so mad. I'm like, okay, I'll make sure I check my phone to let my manager know that I'm still alive at 11:30.
So what are some of what were some of your passions growing up that kind of transition into, you know, maybe passions or hobbies you have now? Or just overall, maybe just passions and hobbies you just have now that you developed? Yeah, I mean,
my passions might be weird, but maybe it's because I don't have children. I am obsessed with my dog.
Yeah, what kind of dog?
Her. A Boston Terrier.
Oh, yeah. Sweet.
Yeah,
I like French bulldogs. They're kind of cool.
Oh, I really want a Frenchie.
Yeah,
I really want a Frenchie. But because I travel for work a little bit at this point, it's not just my decision. I got to make sure. Yeah. My boyfriend at home will take care of her willingly, you know, while I'm gone. But so I really love my dogs and music. I'm really into music.
Okay.
All over the place.
Like, do you make music?
No, God, I wish. Okay. So I actually decided, I got really inspired by Sam Hunt song, which is country. Oh, you listen to country.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm gonna learn to play the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like super set on this. So I bought a guitar, an acoustic guitar, left-handed one. So I was really proud of myself.
You're left-handed?
I am.
My little sister's left-handed.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't notice that in there.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't maybe see your writing or something. But so I buy this guitar and I'm like, I go to try to learn it and I can't. I mean, there's no way that I'm going to put that much time and effort into learning the guitar when I could be putting it somewhere else. Yeah. So I didn't end up learning the guitar. But music, I like going to concerts, music festivals. I'm probably getting a little bit too old for, but any sort of live music, I love it.
What's some of your favorite?
Oh God, I'm all over the place. So I like country. I haven't always liked country though. That came later in life. I used to like hip hop, rap, which I still like. It's a lot of EDM, but like more, not like hardcore stuff, more house. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Rufus Du Sol or Odessa. Those are two of my favorite groups.
Do you like the DJs that Home Office will get for the conventions?
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I think we might have a surprise coming up soon.
I thought, I don't know if we announced. Didn't we announce it?
It was announced. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is like live or not though. We can't be saying it now.
No, it's not live, but this will be out in probably like a month, so we could probably say it.
In a month.
Yeah, it comes out in a month. You could say it. Who's the DJ again?
Cascade.
I looked him up. He looked like he has some views on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh no, he's legit.
Yeah.
He's legit.
That looks dope.
Were you at Tiesto?
2018.
Yeah. Was it? Gosh, was it that long ago?
Mm-hmm. That was my first convention because I got hired in September of 2017 at 18, and then I qualified. No, it was 2019 because I qualified in 2018 and went 2019
in Vegas.
And I was 19 years old, but I was number 48 in the company producer, and I had to wait for my mom to check me into my hotel room in the Caesar's Palace.
That's
I did
amazing.
decent enough, and Simon was hyping me up, so like everyone's saying hi, and I'm sitting out like by the Caesar's Palace check-in, waiting, and they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm waiting for my mom." They're like, "What?" And I'm like, "I'm waiting for my mom to check me into my hotel room because I'm 19.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was.
That's so funny.
Yep.
Wow.
And me being a young man, I'm sitting there like all these cute girls.
Yeah.
And that got ruined.
So that's so funny.
So passionate about music. What is, some of the things that I like to ask people, because I just start asking them what I like. You know what I mean? But I love food. So what are some of the foods that you like? Labasi gave me all these crazy Italian words.
Yeah, well, I mean, I like Italian for sure, and Labasi's one of my closest friends. I hang out with in Texas, so I eat lots of Italian.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to lose a couple pounds, so I'm kind of staying away from that now. But I like Greek food. Yeah. I think Greek food's really good.
There's a Greek place right down the road.
I know. I've been there. It's
for
not
real?
bad. Yeah.
I love
I've been
baklava.
there with Bob. I love baklava. What about spanakopita? Do you like spanakopita?
I don't know what it is, but
Tamales.
It's sweet.
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I know you're a sweets guy. Yeah, no, baklava is really good.
Yes.
It's like kind of flaky, and then you get down that bottom piece.
Oh my God, it's fire.
Yep.
So really what's this other thing you just said?
I like spanakopita. It's like the same kind of flaky stuff that the baklava has, but it has like spinach and feta cheese in it.
Sounds fire.
Yeah, it's really
Is that
good.
Greek as well?
Yep. It's basically spinach and feta cheese wrapped in that same flaky crust.
Now, what got you into liking? You just went to a Greek restaurant.
Well, that's where the ex-boyfriend comes back into play. The guy that I dated through high school and college was 100% Greek.
You like gyros?
I don't.
Now, they don't call it gyros, don't they? They call it euros.
Euro. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, how do they pronounce the G like a U or?
It's euro, so
okay.
Yeah, but it's I would say gyro.
Yeah, Gyros, right?
Yeah, right. So so my ex-boyfriend that I dated throughout high school and college was 100% Greek, and so that was my first introduction to Greek food. And his mom was so good at it. Mm-hmm. She was a great cook, and so like there's a couple dishes. I'm not like too well versed on it. I have like my go-tos, and if I'm going to eat Greek food, I'm having one of those few dishes that I really really liked. From my ex-boyfriend, but so Greek is one of my favorite foods.
Now, do you like movies?
I'm not a movie person, and I knew that this was going to come up. I don't have a favorite movie for you.
You don't have a favorite movie?
Listen, I even thought long and hard because I've watched plenty of your podcasts. I'm like, he asked us in every one. Like, I'm going to have to come up with an answer.
You don't have a show or something you liked?
I mean, there were shows that I liked, but there's nothing
that really like hit you and you were like, I love this.
I'll tell you recently, one that I binged, but it was like embarrassing to even admit how fast I finished it, was Ted Lasso.
Okay.
Oh my God.
I've not heard of this. What's it about?
You don't know. You haven't seen. Oh my God.
I'm going to put this in my notes.
Ted Lasso. It's so good. It's on Apple TV.
So you watch Peter's podcast, I'm guessing.
What?
Peter Reichert's podcast?
Yeah, but what?
Well, I thought it was hilarious because it was such a comedic podcast, and some of them, I just did one with a stand-up comedian, and like, I don't know what comedians have like this, like comic card where they can just say whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like low-key scary. I'm like, oh God, I don't know. I'm gonna do a call from home office or something. They hear this, and then you told me you listen to, and like as I'm making these, and like just the funny shit we're saying in them, and I'm like, and then you were like, yeah, I listened to some. And I'm like, oh, I hope she just listened to like.
Oh, I listened to Peter. I listened to Peter's first. That was the first one.
Peter's is hilarious.
Oh my God, he's so funny. I love him.
And then the DEA come in. And they tell him to put his shirt on.
Yes. He was saying.
Yes.
That's so funny.
So let me put this in here.
Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso.
Yeah. So it's about.
What's this about?
Okay, so it's about a football coach, like an American football coach, that, brought a team to a championship or something. So then England decides that they want him to come over as a coach for one of their football teams, which is soccer.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a complicated story. Basically, the people that owned the soccer club was a marriage, and this marriage split, and so the wife now has the soccer club, and she wants to basically ruin the soccer team in spite of her husband, her ex-husband, who was cheating on her. So she hires Ted Lasso because he's clearly just kind of a joke that he had this one team where the way that he was motivating and inspiring them and getting them to move and getting them to win, in her opinion, was just like way far out there. Like, this guy's a joke. Let's just bring him on board and let our team sink completely.
Yeah.
So obviously he didn't understand that's why he got hired. But then he goes over there and he crushes it, and he brings the team back together and fixes morale. It's a good story, but it is hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so funny. I binged it to the point where like I was almost thinking about lying to people, like, and telling them I wasn't done with it yet because I started it, only a few days ago. It was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad, but it's good.
Typically, people that have a lot of success, they get things done pretty quickly.
I'm very impatient.
Yeah, they just.
It's a weakness and a strength, I think. But
yeah, whatever it is, we just get it done.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
but I also like having more episodes of stuff, which is why I think I'm not a movie person. Like, I like to have series of.
You get like mad. I get like mad, like at the end.
Yeah, it's like, and there's like 2 hours and it was amazing, and then you're like, well, now what? Like, you have to go find something else. Like, no.
Kind of an emptiness.
Yeah, so I'm not really a big movie person. Like, I can't even tell you last time I went to a movie theater.
Yeah.
No clue.
Oh, I can tell you. I see every movie. What does the future vision for you hold? What is your future vision?
I mean, overall, in general, I just want to be in a position where I can help other people, have success, help my family, the people that I work with on my team, whether it's an agent in one of the agencies that I work with, all the way up to, the sales directors. From a personal perspective, I'd like to, continue working my way up on the corporate side. I love the agency side, and I love the where I'm at right now with my career. I think it's really important to be happy with what you do. And I was never unhappy. But, there's times where people are like, why did you move to home office? Or, why did you leave the agency side? And it's literally, again, just a matter of timing. But there's times where I'm like, damn, all my friends' renewals are so much more than mine. Like, what was I, if I would have just stuck around?
Yeah.
But I love what I do, So I'm happy at this point. I want to continue moving up with home office and, impacting as many lives as I can.
Are there any future places you want to travel? Are you happy with living in Texas?
So I'm happy with living in Texas. My boyfriend is not.
Yeah.
But
where's he want to live?
Cleveland. Why? Like, that's crazy.
Is he from Cleveland?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's actually a PR. He is a personal recruit.
For real?
Yep.
Let's go.
Mike Labasi grew up with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, at least he's probably a decent guy. Like,
yeah.
Labasi would be hooking me up with someone that was a total piece of shit.
Guy.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, he in a perfect world he'd live in Cleveland, and in a perfect world I would not live in Cleveland.
Not even.
So
is it the Ohio pie I always see on like Marcus and his nephew? I think it's Austin.
Yeah.
I always see that. You don't like the Ohio pie?
The Ohio pie.
It's like a pizza place out there. It looks fire. I've had it like once. It is fire.
No.
They have cookies, pizza.
Huh. It's called the Ohio pie?
I would move to Cleveland for it. I think it's called Ohio pie.
You would move to Cleveland? No.
For some pizza.
You're in Chicago.
Yeah, but that's true actually. I got
super
on this
crazy.
I got on this stupid diet, and like automatically, like I'm already naturally a very tense person.
Yeah.
That's why I think why I fit in the
yeah.
science
Me
culture.
too. Yeah.
So like, and now I'm on this diet and like cut out sugar from like, that's the biggest addiction in the world. You know what I mean? And people,
sugar is hard.
that's
when you
the
start,
biggest addiction. All
yeah.
these drugs and alcohol, it's sugar is the bit like that'll kill more people than all the drugs and alcohol combined.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People don't take into consideration what sugar does.
Right. And it's terrible for you.
Yeah.
There was a period of time where like I just never really craved sweets, and I'm like, this is amazing.
There's
like,
never been a period of time I haven't craved.
Well, then I started eating sweets, and then all of a sudden it's like I would notice like I'm craving something sweet, and I never, for a big part of my life, I don't really remember. I didn't not like sweets, but like I wouldn't crave it really. And once I realized I was craving it, and I looked in the mirror and my clothes weren't fitting, I'm like, okay, we gotta do something about this. Like this is crazy. Dude. It's hard. So sugar's bad for you.
I love sweets. So future vision we hit on, places you want to travel.
Places I want to travel. That's a good question.
Places you've loved traveling to.
Places I've loved traveling to. I mean, there's so many places I've traveled for work, obviously. I'm in a different state every other week, but like personally, I mean, I haven't really been a ton of places. One place I'm not a huge fan of though is Mexico. Yeah. I'd like to go to Hawaii. I've never been to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Actually I went on the Alaskan cruise that the company had. I won that.
Was that fun?
A few years ago. Oh my God, it was incredible.
Yeah.
At first I'm like, man, of all the 6-month contests, I'm winning the one to Alaska. It was amazing. Yeah. And from people that have been to multiple ones, like David and
you get like seasick at all?
You know what? I did a little bit once we went on the bottom level. We just wanted to see what the rooms looked like on the bottom level, and that's not where they had us. I mean, we had balconies. Like we had our own butler that came to the room. It was insane. But on the very bottom level, I got pretty sick. It was quick. I'm like, let's just go back upstairs. I haven't felt sick upstairs at all, But it was beautiful. And it was warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, did you guys get off at all?
Yeah, we stopped at multiple different places. The one place we did not stop was Juneau, just because we couldn't because of the water.
Yeah.
It was too windy. But yeah, it was a really cool, really beautiful place. You have to go back there at the right time of the year though. Like I'm not trying to go there, when I could just go to Cleveland or Chicago and get that cold weather,
Yeah, exactly.
So it was a perfect time of year. That was good. It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, long term, cool with Texas, traveling, things in mind. You enjoyed Alaska.
If there's anywhere I could live in the world, maybe from places that I've been, like if there's any place that I could live, I didn't have to be in Texas for my career, which I'm more than willing and happy to be there for it. I'd live in Columbus, Ohio.
Columbus?
I love Columbus. I love it.
I think there's a shopping center in Columbus when I drive through. Yeah, I think there's because when we were really young, we used to drive through it when we would, I don't know where we would go. I think Indiana to visit my aunt and uncle, my mom's side. And I think we would drive through there, and there was like an American Girl doll store for my little sister.
Yeah, that's Easton.
Yeah. I would be so pissed. It'd be 2 hours. We'd just be sitting there, and we'd be looking at these stupid-ass dolls.
I brought Marcus's daughter there once.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I couldn't. I just wanted to go look at some Jordans that we couldn't afford.
Yeah.
But
it's the outdoor mall, right? Yeah, that's
mall.
Easton.
So, last thing, tips for really just anybody in the business, but maybe even if you have some specific ones for the females, whether that's in our business or just in the entrepreneurial world or just in general, whatever's on your heart, whatever's on your mind, anything you want to share.
Like from a female perspective.
I think a combination of both. I don't want to limit you to just a female perspective.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I do think that, when I started with the company I was in, it was very male dominated, and over time there's more females that have, joined the company and joined the agencies. But, I never looked at myself as like I was never separating myself from the men. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can do whatever they can do. Like, why not? Why not? Why wouldn't I be able to do what they do or have the success that they have? And I think it's important for, women that are, especially starting with this company or anywhere else, is like, you just cannot give up. And you have to always believe that you're just as good, if not anyone else, just as everyone else in the room or the agency. And there's no reason why you can't work your way up the ladder as well. I feel like sometimes women will start to just assume that they're not as worthy or assume that they're not as good. Like, no, screw that. Like, that's just not my mindset at all. I think it's really important to be mentally tough. Yeah. I went through a lot, especially starting off with the company, like personal stuff, like nothing in the business, but I mean, my brother died, my 8-year relationship ended, which was good all in the long run, but My sister was in and out of rehab and in jail for heroin, and my dad was an alcoholic, barely ever saw. I mean, all this stuff happened within my first few months.
If you don't mind me asking, how, and you don't have to answer, how did your brother pass away?
Oh, I'm super open about this. This is like part of my story when I talk to anyone, really.
Yeah.
So my brother committed suicide.
Wow.
Yeah, he shot himself in the head.
So my ex-girlfriend, her mother committed suicide, and her brother, and I got him chatted here. He was my agent, and he committed suicide the week after I took the SGA deal.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
That is terrible. It's a really confusing thing to.
Really confusing. Like this was just a year ago.
Oh my God.
So like we're friends, but it was so weird. You know what I mean? Because it kind of like tore us apart, kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what I mean? And like I don't know. Like it changes a lot.
Yeah, I mean I started in March. My brother shot himself on June 13th. So I was only there for a few months at that point. And it's funny because my ex-boyfriend and I, when we graduated from OU together, we moved in together in Cleveland. And, we just started not getting along. He actually was also a personal recruit of Travis Moody's. Obviously they were the ones that were friends and wrestled together. But I passed my state exam first. I started writing business first. He's still trying to figure out how to pass the state exam. So I was like rolling at that point, and he wasn't even licensed yet.
Yeah.
So, and then, I think this sometimes can happen in our business where, there might be some insecurities at home, especially in a younger couple, like a relationship, he's questioning what I'm doing, why I'm working so late. Like, you're going to see when you start, this is what we do. If I'm in a sale, I'm not going to be like, hold on, let me call my boyfriend.
I've lost some girls from that because we have a very respectful culture, despite us being young and that just being obvious with us just being adults.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always like, bring them in. You know what I mean? Let's have pizza. Let's have, I don't drink, but you know what I mean? Like, whatever. Yeah. But I've lost people in general, but usually more times than not, girls than.
Oh, for sure. It's happened the other way around too, probably a couple times. I actually had a guy, God, he was so good. His name was Brandon. Yeah. Brandon wore a lot of business. He had a lot of potential. Yeah. I could see him getting into leadership. He had a good head on his shoulders. I was really excited about him, and his wife was not having it. She made him quit. Yeah. And I'm like, so if he was trained by a guy then, it almost put me in a disadvantage. Like, really? Like, you're going to, but I guess it goes both ways. There's females that end up leaving because their boyfriend at home is telling them, and that's what my ex-boyfriend tried to do to me. And he's ultimately, the relationship wasn't good. It's not like this was the only thing that ended it, but this was the last straw. And he's like, it's me or the company. And I'm like, okay.
Renee's like, it's this money.
Yeah, I'm like, peace. Like, and that was it. We were done after that, And he was abusive. It was bad. Like, yes. And becoming really good friends with Vasu, I will never forget. Like, I remember where he was sitting when it dawned on me. Like, Vasu was talking about his, at the time, girlfriend. And just the way that he was talking about her, and he was so sweet. And, and I'm like,
You start to realize what you deserve and what's out there.
Well, I almost didn't realize what I was in. Like, I'm not saying that I felt I deserved it, but I almost was in it for so long, off and on, all through high school and college. Like 8 years is a long time.
Holy hell, yeah.
God, really off and on. I always say it was a big waste of my high school and college years, but it wasn't. Tons of lessons learned. Yeah, yes, and honestly, it's because of him that I'm here. Yeah, if you really think about it. Yeah. So I'm like, all of that spitting in my face or kicking me, it got bad. Yeah. All of that to bring me here. I wouldn't have to go through that, but that's fine. Yeah. Worth it for me. So for sure. So I see Vasu, treating his girlfriend amazing, and we're so close, and his girlfriend's we become close, there's no animosity. She's not getting all weird like my boyfriend was with me, working, with people of the opposite sex. And, and I'm like, I don't think I'm in a good relationship. This doesn't seem right. So we ended up getting a bad fight one night. He left, and I'm like, I called my friends, we got to get me out of here. I cannot live with him anymore. He's super abusive. He tried throwing me down the stairs. Let's go. Christ. So he was at the bars. He went to downtown Cleveland. And my friend and her boyfriend came with an SUV, and we just packed up as much of my stuff as we could. Yeah. Throw it in their car, my car, and we're out. So by the time he got home from the bars, I was moved out. Now, I obviously didn't have some of my furniture that was there and stuff like that, but I had my essentials. Yeah. And so I was staying at my mom's house. I literally showed up at my mom's house with carfuls of clothes. I'm like, I'm moving back in. So anyway, my brother was used to me being gone. It ties back to my brother. My brother was used to me being gone. I was in college for 4 years. And then right after college, I move in with my ex-boyfriend. So he had my room, which was my room that I shared with my sister, but my sister was like doing drugs somewhere. So he had my room as like his office. He was starting his own company, like doing commercial door installation.
Yeah.
And so, well, I mean, I need somewhere to sleep. So all of a sudden his office, which is my bedroom, is now his office, but I'm trying to turn it back into my bedroom, and he's pissed. Yeah. He's like not having it. So we're not getting along. And the last interaction I had with him wasn't good. Like he had me pinned up against a wall. Like it was bad, And then, so that was on a couple of days before his birthday, which is, his birthday's June 6th. And so on June 6th, I'm like, all right,
my ex is June 5th.
Oh gosh, it's getting more and more weird.
I know.
So
I'm over here like, don't be weird.
No. So he, I'm trying to be a good big sister. So I text him on his birthday. I didn't call him, I was so pissed off that he threw me up against a wall or whatever. But so I'm like, happy birthday, Mark. I love you. And I think he might have said like, thanks or something. And then he shot himself 1 week later. So I happened to be the night that he shot himself back with my ex-boyfriend. Like we weren't back together, but I slept the night there. I went, my on and off boyfriend. So I get, and because he was so crazy and completely not understanding the way that things were really working at that point in time with American Income, like I was literally in the field when he thought I wasn't, whatever. So I would have to put my phone on silent.
Yeah.
Because if we were getting a group text or someone made a sale, he'd like flip out. And it would be like literally like 1,000 ALP. I'm like, but he doesn't know that that's what it says. And so anyway, my phone on silent, and I wake up in the morning. Well, I can't get ready there. Like I don't have my stuff at his house anymore. I moved out. So that was on June 12th. And so I wake up to a text message from my mom saying like a couple like call me's, and then she's like, call me when you wake up. So I honestly don't really think it's that big of a deal. Like I don't think anything major is going on. So I get out of his house. I'm on my way home to my mom's house and to shower to go work because I had appointments that day. And I called her like literally when I was pulling down my street, Peter and I Street. And so I call her like, hey, what's going on? She's like, whatever you do not go in the house. Mark shot himself. And I'm like, what? And I couldn't process everything properly. I'm like, I think I even said like, what a dumbass. Like I thought he might've had a gun, like playing around, shot himself in the foot. Like I'm not thinking he ended his life. So she's like, no, it's not good. Don't go in the house. Don't go in his room. And it's like, when you tell a little kid, don't touch the stove, what do they want to do?
Yeah.
They want to go touch the stove.
Yeah.
So I knew I wasn't supposed to go in there, but I just trying to like, I was in shock or not really understanding what was going on and just wanted to make sense of it. So I went up into my brother's room and it was literally a murder scene. And I just sat down on his bed, which is where he shot himself, obviously away from the blood. And I just sat there for a while. Like, I don't understand what's going on, but he was still breathing. He was still alive at the hospital and he had shot himself the night before. So I washed my face, brushed my teeth. I don't even think I showered. I just had to get out of there and went up to the hospital and he was in the ICU, obviously dying. And then we watched him die. So it was a really terrible experience, but I'm glad that I could be there at least, I got to be there. I mean, obviously he was left-handed too. Yeah. So he shot himself through his left temple, but the bullet actually was pulled out of the wall. So it went all the way through his head. So, I mean, he didn't look like himself at all, his last few minutes. I mean, he was so swollen. He literally looked like a 250. He weighed maybe 250, huge, like big dude. He was very, very like thin. It was weird. There was blood coming out of it. Was a very terrible thing to see. And, I obviously probably didn't handle it properly or even know what was going on. I was still in a state of shock and I didn't realize it at the time. So I leave the hospital. I watch the doctor, look at the clock, look down at his watch, look back up at the clock, and then pronounce his time of death, which I can't remember what it was. But, and then I got in the car, I left the hospital, and I called Simon, who was my SA. I was only a couple months in at this point. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to be late to the office because my brother just died. And he's like, what the fuck? No, what do you mean? Like, I'm like, Mark just shot himself, so I'm not going to be able to be on time. Like, I'm behind schedule to get to the office. And he's like, you're not coming in. I'm like, I'm coming in. So we get another argument. I'm like, I have my binders there. I have to come in. Like, I have appointments today. And, it's like, when you don't have EAP, it's like, I got hurt. Well, you don't have your binder. That could screw you too. So I had to go to the office to get my binder. And he's like, you're insane. You're not going out on appointments. I'm like, I have to. Like, what if, I almost went in, I don't know if it was like survival mode or what I was trying. I don't know what it was. It was weird, but I was so determined to get in front of as many people as I could that day, because if something happened to them and I wasn't there to protect them first, then that was going to be on me.
Yeah.
You know, like I just watched my own blood die. I watched my brother die. And I know that's a different situation. It's suicide. But if I go out, don't protect these families today, or I don't show up, and then one of them gets in a car accident tomorrow, like that's on me. Like that's my fault.
Yeah.
Like that was what I was thinking. So I went up to the office, and I think someone I played like tug of war with my binder. And then finally I won. And then I went out in the field and I wrote 3,000 that day. I was the top producer that week. And that was how I handled it. You know,
Yeah.
that was how I grieved, I guess. You know, I don't think that that's probably the healthiest way to do it, but that's how I did it. And that's how I got through it. And then between that and then my sister, you know, she was, she's recovered now and she's amazing and she's a beautiful soul, but she was like hardcore shit, like stuff that you watch on TV.
Yeah.
Hardcore heroin addict, like bad.
Yeah.
And so she was actually she couldn't get out for my brother's, for her twins' funeral because it wasn't an open casket. We couldn't have an open casket because she was in jail. So she couldn't get out because she was in jail, and he couldn't have an open casket because of how he died. And so, you know, there were times where she was missing or using or who knows what. You know, it was a really, really tough time. And then the breakup, even though that was a good thing, it was still not easy. So all of that's happening in my first couple months. And I'm like, I made a decision. Like I had to consciously tell myself, I can make a decision to allow this to break me or make me. Like these are all very bad things, which, well, sometimes we got these new people, sometimes they'll come in and they stub their toe and they're like, I got to take a week off. You know, it's like, I don't really have sympathy for people like that. Like, I think that we have to use our life experiences to, you know, to make other people's lives better, or to improve ourselves. I want to use all those experiences that I went through to put me in a position to win. Like I was using that as motivation, not as a reason to leave, or not as a reason to have an excuse to not write business or to not have success, you know? And so that just fueled me, you know? Then on top of just wanting to make sure that I could potentially be in a position where down the road I could, you know, if I had a family, I could, you know, provide for them in a way that my parents worked very hard, but we really didn't come from much of anything. Like I thought I was rich when I got a comma on my paycheck the first time. Like I actually thought I was like rich when I got a comma on my first paycheck, you know, like, you know, but my mom worked multiple jobs. So I mean, I wanted to make a difference, you know, and using this as motivation to better my family down the road and not let those bad circumstances turn into an excuse to not work, you know?
Yeah. Were there any like traits that your brother had leading up to that were kind of like indicators?
Yeah. So he was really, really bad, like his whole childhood. Now I would not have expected it to lead to what it did, but, like I told you in the beginning, like growing up, he was just bad. Like he just like getting pissed off and punch holes in the walls. And like, we were always patching up the holes in the walls that he was creating. And that was like from a really early age. I remember when I was in 4th grade, I'll never forget this because my big crush was in my class. And I got pulled out of 4th grade, my 4th grade classroom, by the principal because my brother had kicked the principal in the balls, taken his glasses off his head and stomped on them and ran out of the school and is missing now. And they wanted to know if he were to go somewhere, where would he go? I'm like, I don't know. He's in 2nd grade. Like, I don't even know where I would go. Like, it was a hard question for me to answer. They ended up finding him at home, which was not close to the school. So he was really bad from a really young age, but it was just like anger issues. It wasn't really like depression or anxiety type stuff. I never picked up on that necessarily. He's just an angry person. And I thought he started to get better, like towards the end, you know, when he's starting to get a little bit older. He's, you know, 19, 20, like he kind of started to grow out of it, you know. And maybe it's just because I wasn't around as much. I was in college, so I didn't know how quickly he'd trigger, have a trigger to just start going crazy again. But when I came home and was trying to use my bedroom as a bedroom, and he got pissed off because it was his office, and then he put me up against the wall, I realized that, like, okay, maybe he still has some of these anger issues, but there was nothing to make me feel that he would ever be in a position to commit suicide. He did have a breakup, though. There was a breakup, which it was not this girl's fault. There was obviously deeper issues with him, but he had a breakup where I think in his mind, like, that's kind of what led up to it. I don't know if he did it in his mind because he thinks that it was because of the breakup, or a combination of him just always being unhappy. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. But his best friend, I remember, pulled me aside. He lived across the street from us. And he's like, I'm really worried about Mark. It was about a week before Mark died. I'm really worried about Mark. He's talking about killing himself, you know, and I'm like, I blew him off. I'm like, Josh, he's fine. Like all 20-year-olds say I'm going to kill myself when they go, like they don't mean it. Like, like, oh, you know, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to kill myself. Like I don't say that ever. Like I'm super, super sensitive to that now. But when I was younger, I mean, it could be like, I was frustrated with my mom. Like, oh my God, I just want to kill myself. You know, like that's just what young kids say. And I blew it off and I told Josh, I'm like, he's fine. Like, he's not going to really kill himself. And then he did. And so Josh really struggled with that too, you know? So, I mean,
are you still close with Josh?
Yeah. I mean, we consider their whole entire family, you know, our family. We grew up with them. There's 2 girls and 2 boys. So there are 4 of them. And between the 4 of them and the 3 of us, you know, we're all give or take around each other's ages. The boys were kind of, you know, the one guy was my age. We grew up in the same grades, same classes, but, and the 2 girls are a little bit older. Both their weddings, like they're close. Yeah. For sure. He actually Josh named his son after Mark, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, I wanted to kind of wrap up and try to give some tips or pointers for individuals maybe in, you know, relationships that they necessarily shouldn't be in. I think it helps out just with life in general. I know, like, growing up, you know, with my parents being in jail, you know, well, some of that was from child abuse and domestic abuse and watching my mom get beat every night. You know, I don't know what makes somebody stay, but I don't know, and obviously I don't know like how drastic, you know, your situation was, but maybe indicators, you know, that people should look for. And like I think everybody sometimes has decent advice, but then it's just kind of self-implementation. Like when you end up in that situation, what are things maybe young people or people in general can look for and do to make sure they're being safe and wise to take care of themselves? Yeah,
you know, I think, you know, I look back on my experience. Obviously, things weren't bad in the beginning, right? Yeah. Like they get bad over time. And so, like looking back on it, I probably should have picked. They're just small little things I think people should be aware of. Like, you know, be aware of smaller things that could indicate potential
little
future.
Red flags.
Yeah, little red flags, I guess would be a good way to say it. Like there were in the beginning, we get in an argument, he would just get like real pissed, like just too pissed off where it's like not really normal to act like that. Nothing would happen yet, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think when little indicators like that are going off, I think it's something to pay attention to. Maybe you don't need to end the relationship, but it's something to pay attention to. And I think that no one should ever be in a position where they're physically or mentally abused. And I was definitely both, but I will tell you, I don't think I deserved it. And I know I didn't deserve it. And I don't wish that on anyone, but I also think that it made me who I am. Because I'll tell you, I haven't had a single relationship like that since. Yeah. You know, I don't take anyone's shit. Yep. Like I'm completely different now. So in a positive way because of that, you know, and I look back like, how could I have been so dumb for so long? I think that people honestly do. And I hate to say this because I believe it to an extent. I knew that things were not great between us, but I actually started to not understand how bad they were. You almost kind of get used to it, like you're conditioned for it, where when it happens, like, oh yeah, well, he got really pissed off and he spit in my face. Like that's one of the worst things that I think you could do to someone. Yeah. And I would forgive him for that. Like, because I think
it's a felony or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know, but I know that if you do it like to a paramedic, for example, which is what my boyfriend is, like it's definitely a felony on the person doing it to a paramedic, you know, or to any, you know, officer, So I mean, it was bad, but like the first time it happens, if someone apologizes and you want to take them back, it's just not a good idea. I don't think that things are a one and done thing. Like I'm never going to physically assault anyone that I care about. Like I don't, it doesn't matter how, and I've been pissed off before, but I'm not going to spit in someone's face. Like that just wouldn't happen. So I think that not taking the apologies after one time I don't think it's a good idea. Yeah. Meh.
Simple and wise. Mm-hmm. Simple and wise for sure. This was fire. Is there anything else you wanted to share to help encourage or add value to people?
You know, I think I'll go one tip that was told to me really, really early on in my career, and this pretty much goes for anything in life, not just American Income or even a career, but it made a lot of sense to me at the time, but it's so much more, it's deeper than when it was first said to me, is if you want to know how to make it, and whatever, I'm just going to use American Income, for example. You know, I was told if you want to make it here, there's only one thing that you have to follow. And I promise you, if you follow this to a T, like 100% you're going to have success. And I'm like all excited, like ready to take notes. Just don't quit. I think people quit. I think people give up too early. Yeah. You know, I think that especially and specifically to the business that we're in, if you do not quit, you will make it. 100% of the time. I don't know one person that stuck around that hasn't made it.
Yeah.
Not one. Now, they might have had ups and downs. They might have failed in the beginning. They might have failed in the middle, or they were just straight up to the top the whole way. Regardless of, the path that you take, as long as you don't end that path, you'll make it. And I think too many people give up too soon. You got to train your brain to be positive. Like there's so many things that I try to teach myself, like, okay, I have to talk to myself sometimes. Like if there's a bad situation, or I want to get worked up, or, I almost don't like it when things are going too smooth, knock on wood.
Yeah.
Like I like adversity. It makes me a better person.
Yeah.
And so I think when people can look at the negative situations that they may be going through or experiencing, look at it and figure out what positive thing can you pull from that. I think that's a game changer. And for me, it was especially, like I said, with those things I dealt with early on in my career, like I've never allowed those to be excuses. I let them be my positives for me, even though I would take my brother back over anything. Like there's, on a different note outside of American Income, there's so many lives that I feel like I've been able to help. Hopefully I have. It's even just once a year on the day my brother died, I usually will post stuff on social media. I get pretty emotional like once a year, I'm pretty cool most of the time. I will have some breakdowns here and there. So, and every single time I posted something on social media about my brother, and it's not just like, I'm sad, today's 10 years. It's like, it's okay to not be okay. But I'm trying to just let someone else, if it reaches one person where it can help them maybe, stick around one day longer, then every single time I've done that, I've had someone reach out to me personally.
Yeah.
And so I like through Mark, I'm able to help other people, I think, which is really cool. I don't know.
Me.
I don't know how
that was something traumatic for me to be so in love with someone and not be able to help them. You know what I mean? Because
it's terrible.
She did not grieve. Like I thought she was grieving, but she was not. Like it was like just shut off. You know what I mean? Plus, I'm a week into starting as the youngest SGA.
Yeah, that's wild.
It was crazy.
It's wild.
It was
But
really
I
crazy.
think figure out what you can pull positive from every negative situation.
Yeah.
And there is something positive in every negative situation.
Absolutely.
And I think it just makes you a better person. Like I'm glad that I had adversity.
Yes.
I would have probably be upset knowing what it's done to me now. I'm a completely different person than pre major adversity,
Absolutely. Well,
cool.
That's the point of it, Adversity Kings.
Yeah.
Anything you want to shout out? Any things in regard to the company, social medias, anything at all you want to advertise? Any companies, products? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I just want to. I got a whole long list here.
Chew red gum.
Yeah. I just wanted to thank you for having me on here. Really, I think this is super cool. I was watching your podcast. I'm like, dang, he doesn't have any women on there,
Well, I have one with Sarah, but we're making some adjustments.
Yeah, I heard.
Yes.
So there won't be any issues with this one,
Yes.
I think that what you're doing is amazing. I think this is super cool. And it's fun because it's not just about business, and there are some hilarious. I'm like, man, I don't think we're gonna have any funny stories because I'm just getting to know you,
Yeah.
When I asked you to speak at 2-1, I promise I'll finish after this. When I asked you to speak at 2-1, I've never met you.
Yeah.
And I was super excited to have you, and I've only heard about you and I've heard good things, but I was so blown away. I just think that you're incredible, and this company is super, super blessed to have you. And I was texting Simon, you were probably like 10 minutes in, and I texted him, I'm like, hey, Tristan is incredible. Like, I think I'm obsessed with him in a professional way. I'm like, he's so good. Like, especially for your age, it's incredible to see what you're doing and even stuff like this. Yeah. So
it's all fun. It's all good. And I got a great mom. Mom, if you're listening, I love you. And so great mom, great mentorship and my faith and great people like you. This is fun. I like to be genuine and chill. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's it.